Okay, it's time to start building some things. And I've made this way for you to hopefully make it easier than it was for me. And it's by starting with a base project that I've made. If you go to GitHub and then go to me, which is JuneSpoon, but spell my name correctly, you'll see a repository called JavaFX base. Okay, so this is going to be hopefully used a few times during this course, every time you want to make a new JavaFX project, because it means that you have very little configuration to do. Okay, so I'm going to copy the clone link here, and then I'm going to go into my command line, and then I'm going to clone it. So I gotta go into Eclipse, Workspace. What I was doing there, I didn't type it all out, so sometimes if you want to do stuff, you can just tab it and then it'll fill it in for you. Okay, so I'm in my Eclipse Workspace, so that's where I'm going to clone it to. Okay, so that was pretty fast because it's actually tiny. It's just got the infrastructure that you need. Now I'm going to open my Eclipse, and it's important to get this part right. Okay, so you go to File, and then you go to Import, and you absolutely must select Import Existing Maven Projects. And then I'm going to browse to where I cloned JavaFX base. And then I've got this, that's the POM that I was telling you about that has all of the jars that are needed. And then it's imported. I don't see it here because I'm using a working set because I have so many projects. So I'm going to edit that and add my JavaFX base so I can see it in this little window. And can you see the way the project has a little M there? That means it's a Maven project. I don't have any red, so that means it's building nicely. Okay, this is tiny, it doesn't have a whole bunch of stuff. This is the main code that we're going to start with. This is going to build a very basic user interface. And if I try and play this to get it to run, I won't be able to. That's another complicated thing if we want to get that running, but I want it to be simple. So instead of that, just click here on the launcher and run the launcher instead. That's going to pull up this user interface that is really basic, saying hello. Now if I go into the launcher, you can see what's happening. All it's doing is it's calling the main method of helloFX, which is this class. Okay, just to be super basic about it, I'm going to add some stuff. But first I want you to know that there are two different ways of building layouts like this. First I'm going to show you the manual way, and then I'm going to show you the fancy schmancy way using Scene Builder and the drag and drop. Okay, so if you didn't have Scene Builder, you might go about it like this. I'm going to try and add a button over here. JavaFX button. I always name my buttons button, and then I'm going to write something on the button. I'm a button. Okay, so I've created a button, and now I need to add it. So what's going on here is we have a stage, and then we're adding to the stage, we're adding a scene, and to the scene we're adding a stack panel, and then we're showing the stage. Okay, kind of complicated. I wouldn't recommend you go off learning those things. I recommend you just use this layout. Now stack panel I'm just going to pull out as a local variable with my refactoring. Actually I'll do it the clicky way. Refactor, extract local variable. So I would usually use Windows Alt and L to do this. I do that a lot. That's just going to make it so that I can see this instantiation on one line. See, before that, new stack pane was tucked in there into root. That was a little confusing for what I'm about to do. Okay, so here I'm making a button. Here the folks at Open JavaFX have made a label, and then we're going to add the label and the button to the stack panel. The stack panel is a thing that lays out the components in a stack. add but, and now when we run it, gotta run the launcher though. Oops, I don't need to do it like that. I can do this. I should see my button, hopefully. Button, okay. All right, so this is the manual way to make this layout. And you could do that, and you know, there's lots of other different things that you can use, different controls and different layouts, stack panes layout. There's a bunch of them I'll show you now in a minute. And you can code it like that by hand, but there's another way. This is the way that I'm going to use for this kind of stuff, and that is using FXML. Okay, so when I opened this, I just right-clicked it, and it gives me the option to open with Scene Builder, and that's where I'm going to be able to build these things without actually writing all this code. I'm just going to be dragging and dropping. Okay, so what we've got here is a library of all the things, and I use this searchy thing a lot, that search bubble to look for the things that I want. And then here you have what it's a pictorial example of the XML it's created. For some reason, I always have to delete this because you can't see that, and just add another anchor pane. Okay, that's the basis of my user interface. And then I can add a whole bunch of stuff to it. Like, this is how I would add a button. Just drag it over there like that. I'm going to add an image. Drag it in there like that. And then I'm going to specify over here on the right what image I want. I'm going to put this parrot on here. That's not how you spell parrot. Yay! And tons of other stuff. Like there's a date picker in here. You can, you know, jam all this stuff on there. And what it's going to do is it's going to actually make the XML so that I don't have to write any of that code. So I'm going to save it. You can't see my file there, but I'm saying file save. And then I'm going to go over to my Eclipse. Okay, you can see that layout.fxml has changed. And it's added all this stuff. We've got an anchor pane, we've got a button, and we've got an image view with an image on it. You know, if you wanted to write that this way, you'd have to remember all those things, which is totally up to you if you choose to do it that way. For now, we're learning how to use the FXML way with Scene Builder. Okay, now I'm going to try and run this FXML, and I've made this class Scene Builder FX to help you with that. So once it's called layout.fxml, then this will load it, and that's the only code that you need to load your user interface. Okay, and then over here in my launcher, instead of running the hello FX main method, I'm going to run the main method in Scene Builder FX. Okay, play. Here is the user interface that I just made over there in Scene Builder. Without my parrot quite obviously missing, the parrot. So that parrot image was on my desktop. Here it is. It's specified here where it is. So I wouldn't want to keep it on my desktop. I would want to add it to my Eclipse project. So here I've opened my Finder. If you've got Windows or whatever you use, you need to get that file and you need to put it in here into the source main Java folder so that Eclipse is able to find it. And also when you put it on GitHub, whoever runs this will be able to use it. Now this obviously isn't its URL anymore. I'm going to just take all that off. I don't know where this got 2 R's, but that's how the file is. Okay, I'm just going to see if I can run it with my launcher. Okay, there's my parrot. Those are the basics of how to make the user interfaces. We're not doing anything in the background yet, like actually reacting when the button is pressed. We'll be doing that in after the next lecture. So what I'd like you to do is make a stopwatch interface. stopwatch. Everybody knows what a stopwatch is. So use this, get your own version down from the internet, and then make a stopwatch user interface. It doesn't need to function. Before I go, I want to go back into this JavaFX base because you'll want to use this as a starting point for all of your JavaFX projects until you become an expert. And so here in this repository, I've put instructions down here of how to use it to make your own. So you want to do a fork up there. I can't fork it because this is me, but you would fork there, and then this tells you how to rename it. So you rename it and then clone it. And then start working on it from within your Eclipse. So do what we did before, which is file, import, Maven projects, and then run it like that. Okay, so looking forward to seeing how you imagine your stopwatch user interface.